Hi guys, Mike here from KS Bushcraft Down Under. So it's really obvious when you need to replace your crank battery on your vehicle. Personally, heading remote, I always change my batteries out every 3 years. Okay, because I don't like being stuck with a dead battery in the middle of nowhere. The yellow one is my fridge battery. Okay, now it's 3 years old. Now, temperature really affects these batteries and vibration as well, so they get a hard life, especially if you drive your vehicle off-road. So the easy way of measuring the capacity is via voltage. It's not the most accurate, but it's pretty reasonable. So the float voltage is affected by the temperature. So if you see on this gauge here, it says percentage of capacity at 25 degrees Celsius. So it was a warm night last night and we're at 25.5, so this should be pretty well right. And get you in the shade there, it's saying 12.4 volts, so that's a bit of a ouch. And I'll get a digital meter out and try it again. So the difference between 12.4 and 12.6, now 12.6 and above for a flooded battery, a crank battery, is 100%. And for AGM batteries, it's usually about 12.8. So at 3 years old, now this battery, I worked it out, since I started using high-end coolers, it's done 2 weeks worth of cycles in 3 years running the fridge. Now that's with a solar blanket on and all that stuff. So it's not had a hard life. The only other thing it has done is charged up my mobile phone and a bit of camera gear at night. So it's had a pretty soft run of it. So I'll check the voltage again, and if it is, as I suspected, down to probably half its capacity, I'll have to make some hard choices about replacing it or going down the path. Now, this is the second battery deep cycle in this car, so every 3 years I've been changing it. And is there a better option? I keep looking at the lithiums. Now, where I live in Western Australia, in Perth, which is the capital, we're getting 2 lithium-ion battery fires a week, which seems an awful lot considering a lot of these devices are pretty new. So I've got this real cringe factor about putting a lithium-ion battery in a vehicle which is going to be pounded down a corrugated road and at high temperature. It's probably not going to be happy under the bonnet. That means I have to put it somewhere else. So anyway, we'll get the voltage on and I'll get that base reading. Then I will go over and I will do a discharge test. Then I'll remeasure the voltage and I'll see what type of capacity I've got left. Well, this little plug-in power meter is saying vary between 12.6 and 12.4, so 80% capacity. And I'll do it again. Well, this one's even less optimistic. It's showing 12.44 volts. So, Okay guys, I've pulled out my little 15 litre Engel. I used to use this a lot, but since I've been using my Yeti coolers, I just throw in an 8 kilo ice brick and that sees me through the week. So these guys have not been getting much use at all. So I've plugged in another meter. Now this is an amp meter, so it measures how much has been pulled out of the battery. So it's showing 12.39, 12.4, so I think we've agreed on it's about 12.4 volts, so it's not happy. Now this will measure the amps that comes out of the house battery, and from there I can determine what capacity it's got left. So it'll show up the load the moment I turn the fridge on. So there it is there at 3.2 amps. Now as the voltage falls, the amps will slightly increase and it'll record how much has come as well. So I'll come out every few hours and I'll keep a check on this. And normally my deep cycle is 75 amps, so I don't like to crash them. But that's 3 years old, so it's probably not going to hurt. Okay guys, that's been 7 hours. I've drawn 17 amps out of the battery, so it's been floating for about 10 minutes, so 12.1, just over 40% capacity. So this is a 75 amp hour battery, so I'd say it's lost half of its capacity. So I'll keep on going until I get the low battery alarm up, and we'll give an idea of how much capacity I've got left after 3 years of very frequent use. So I've just turned the fridge back on. This is the immediate effect on the voltage there, which is normal. They're very reactive, DC batteries, with the slightest of loads. So you can't judge what it is or what state of charge it is with any load on it at all. Okay guys, so it's all over. So delivered 33 amp hours. So there's still a fraction left, but I don't want to crash the battery for no particular benefit. So originally it was a 75 amp hour battery, so I'll have lost 50% in full. So to replace this battery's $400 and something odd, and it's got enough capacity to run my camp lights, which is really all it's been doing, charging my mobile phone, a bit of camera gear. So do I kick the can down the road and leave it for another year, or go a small lithium? Anyway, we'll discuss that in a recap. Okay guys, let's round it out. So the battery that's been in here for 3 years is the Century 24LX MF, 75 amps, 730 cold crank amps, and it's $415 is the best I can get it locally for. About $10 cheaper if I wait 7 or 8 days for shipping. Okay, so $415. It's got half its capacity left after 3 years, so that's it there. So 21.5 kilos. By the time I add the solar and DC charger, battery plate, we'll call it 25 kilos. Now it'll run normally the fridge for 2 days without any input. After that, I need the solar blanket. Now that solar blanket there is $2,000. Now most of the trips I've had of late, I wasn't prepared to put $2,000 on the ground or on the windscreen of the car. It's just too tempting. It's okay when it's super remote, but campgrounds and stuff, that's just screaming to be taken. Now as well as that blanket, I need all these cables to get it out in the sun, because I don't want to park my car in the sun, and just to put the panels in the shade. Now balancing that out, my last trip away I took this Evercool 65 litre fiberglass cooler. Now I had it loaded up with 2 8-kilo bricks of ice and some party ice the day, well, half a bag of party ice to fill up the gaps before I left. Now that lasted 9 days. So factor in the weight of the fridge, the blankets, the cabling, probably an extension lead as well. That is a hell of a lot lighter. So I can buy an awful lot of ice for $400. So I've got enough battery life left in this machine to keep my camp lights going for probably another couple of years, and hopefully we'll come up with a more robust lithium. And I'm beginning to think that unless you are super remote, dual batteries for fridges and stuff, I don't know, it's just really hard to justify the money. Anyway guys, that's my thoughts at the moment. If this type of content helps you out, helps you make good decisions, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.